Welcome, listeners and viewers, to northeastvalleynews.org. You're listening or viewing This Day in Sport. It's a weekly sports podcast. We do it on Tuesdays. Today's November 7th. There's 3 people in the studio today. You can only see 2 of them on your monitor because I'm not super camera worthy. I mean, I am, but I'm not really.
I'm a little confident.
Yeah, I think
I black out. I black out when I'm on camera. My name's Ole Olafson. We also have Ethan Cohen in the room. He's on mic 3. Ethan?
What's up, party people?
Hello. We also have Thomas Bonvehi is here
Heyo.
as well.
It's good.
He's on microphone 2. Microphone 1 is unattended today, but that's fine.
It's filled the space by Casper the Ghost.
We're missing our man Preston Grace today for some reason.
Yeah.
Yep.
If you do listen to the podcast regularly, we thank you for that. Of course, you could be checking us out on NEVN FM on Spotify, or you could be checking us out on our site as well. We appreciate either of those. This is a 2-part podcast. If you're new to it, I'm going to explain it to you right now. The first part is a 2-minute warning where we go around and talk about stuff we think is interesting and hope that it interests you as well. The second part of the podcast is called The Main Event. That's where we have a discussion about a certain thing that's going on in sports. Today, in honor of the very last Bedlam game on Saturday, we're going to talk about we're going to talk about our very favorite, and it could be famous, sports rivalry across any sport. Could be soccer, could be professional pickleball, could be NFL football.
I have a mean rivalry at
Yeah, mean
JCC when it comes to pickleball.
I mean, racquetball rivalry. I got beat by a guy with only one good leg in racquetball one time.
That's really sad.
Sting.
Yeah, his one knee was almost completely locked up, and he
had the leg up, and you didn't.
He shredded me, mister.
It wasn't even close.
No, he was old and crafty, and I was young and stupid.
Mm.
Okay, so let's get going. I'm still young and stupid. Let's get going with the 2-minute warning. Who's gonna kick us off today? Thomas, you're on the opposite side of the room. Why don't you start off?
All right, I'm going to be talking about how close the AFC North is right now. It is tight. If I'm not mistaken, all teams are currently 5-3.
Ravens are 7-2, but besides that, yes,
7-2. Oh wait,
Yeah.
no, they demolished the Seahawks. Yeah,
they also demolished the Lions.
Keaton
They were very
Mitchell
good.
went off. Yeah, they've been really good. The thing is, each team has a flaw. Bengals, I knew that turnaround was coming. All right, I mean, it
It's
happened
obvious.
last year. It was going to happen again. I just knew it. Then with the Steelers, they've been very good in close games with decent or bad teams, but when they play a team like the Niners, they get demolished. So they're the team I'm not high on. That's like the one team that's going to go 9-8, but they still finish bottom of the division.
Dude, of course they're gonna go 9-8. They got Mike Tomlin.
Yeah.
They literally don't have a losing season with him.
And then there's the Browns. Amazing defense, arguably better than the Niners. But the question is Deshaun Watson like the real deal? Is he the answer?
I hope not.
I mean, I think everyone hopes he's not the answer.
No.
Ravens-
Well, unless you're
Yeah.
related or something, it could be a family member.
Yeah.
No,
Then-
if I was his family member, I would hate him too.
Harsh.
All right.
Ouch.
Then with the Bengals, with them, it's not really consistency, but they really need to they need to start getting they need to start the season on the right foot. They can't be losing like 2 straight games.
Yeah, they start out rough this year.
But more importantly, next year, are you gonna pay T. Higgins? Are you gonna be able to keep Jamar Chase?
I don't think they're gonna pay T. Higgins.
I think they're gonna trade him for like a first round.
They haven't been using him much this year. I got him on
yeah.
my fantasy team, and he's been on my bench pretty much the whole season.
I've had to start
he
him.
balled
He's
out.
been-
He balled out this week though.
Yeah.
Yes,
Right,
the
but this
Bills.
is really his first good week for a while.
Yeah,
That's fair.
And then with the Ravens, they're very good when healthy. When they're not healthy, they struggle so much,
Like,
especially
any
with
team.
Lamar.
right.
But
But I think the biggest X factor with the Ravens and why they've been so good, especially on defense, is Roquan Smith.
Roquan Smith is such a beast.
I mean, that addition to that defense made them so much more nasty than like they were already. Like they were already a playoff team, but he really boosts them, especially on that defensive side.
I mean, he was so good in Chicago and he wanted out, and you give up like what, a 4th rounder for Roquan Smith?
There's no way it was a 4th rounder. Was it actually?
I don't know. It happened a year ago. I think it was on deadline day.
Unsubstantiated.
It was like insanely low, but it's so tight. It's still anyone's game besides Pittsburgh's, in my opinion.
That's the magic sound right there. Your 2 minutes is up.
And it's a beautiful sound.
Yep.
Yeah, it is. I like that one.
Yeah, I know.
Ethan, who are you going to talk about for your 2-minute warning? It's starting right now.
During the pre-draft process, I was not very high on CJ Stroud. I thought his athleticism wouldn't hold up. Obviously, the accuracy was there. I didn't think he had the arm strength, and I just didn't think he would pan out. But boy, has he proved me wrong. I mean, the guy has thrown 1 interception through 9 games or 8 games, 9 games.
I believe it's 8 games.
Either way, 1 interception. The guy's taking care of the ball like at an elite
That's
level.
really important.
Which is crazy for a rookie.
It's really important.
He has 3 turnovers all year, which is crazy to me. But also the fact the guy this Sunday threw for 470 yards and 5 touchdowns, which is a rookie record for both.
He cost me my fantasy league this week.
Killed you, didn't he?
Yeah, by 4 points too.
I could have won if I would have just gone ahead and streamed him. What else do you see about wait a minute, you're apologizing to CJ. What other things do you have to say to CJ?
Well, I thought that
he's probably listening.
He's definitely listening.
He's probably listening.
And if he is, screw Ohio State. But I hate Ohio State.
Wow.
But also like he's an elite pocket passer. We knew that coming out of the draft, but I just didn't think his athleticism was good enough to pan out, and he's proved me wrong, and props to him. I thought Anthony Richardson would be better, and honestly, I still think he will be, but I also thought Bryce Young would be better, which he has not.
No. The question is he going to become the first like good Ohio State quarterback that we've seen in the NFL?
I think it's too early.
It's yet to be seen.
And also, Justin Fields broke a record last year. I wouldn't say that he sucks.
Joe Burrow doesn't count. He only threw like 19 passes at Ohio State. Okay.
So are you saying that Jalen Hurts isn't an Alabama quarterback despite winning a national championship with Alabama?
I think he's an Alabama QB, Jalen Hurts.
Even though he got drafted out of
magic
Oklahoma.
Sound.
Okay.
Yeah.
Your time is up.
Later.
Yeah, he was drafted by Oklahoma.
My 2-minute warning is starting now as well. I'm going to stick with college football crazy talk. It's getting real close to the end of the season.
He loves
I think we had week 10 this week, if I'm not mistaken. It was week 10 this past weekend. We had, as I mentioned earlier in the show, we did have the last rendition scheduled game of Bedlam. It's called Bedlam when Oklahoma State and Oklahoma play each other. For those of you who are not familiar with the game, it's almost always a really good game. It's kind of lopsided towards Oklahoma, but this weekend for the last game, the 119th installment of Bedlam, I believe it was, Oklahoma State, ranked 22, defeated the 9th ranked Oklahoma Sooners 27-24. I like it when that happens.
The Sooners are going to go very much down the rankings.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Ollie Gordon, they're probably out of the playoffs.
That dude is a monster.
Ollie Gordon, the third Oklahoma State running back, had 137 yards and 2 touchdowns. He was probably the difference.
That dude is just a massive running back.
Also, Clemson struck this weekend. Clemson, who got kind of disgracefully knocked out by a subpar team early in the season, came back and showed what they were all about by beating the number 15 ranked Notre Dame 31-28.
I mean, it's Notre Dame. They always blow it.
Well, I don't know. I mean, they've been so up and down. You never know what to. I was going to talk about this game as what to watch for last week, and I didn't because I didn't know which Notre Dame was going to show up. Arizona, the suddenly good Arizona Wildcats also upset 19 UCLA 27-10. Oh no!
And
U of A is
2
very
minutes
good.
is up. Hey, I'm just going to throw out a couple of things to watch for this week because I think it's important. Number 3 Michigan is going to go up against number 11 Penn State. Watch for that.
I can
Let's
see
go.
that.
Also, Ole Miss is going to take on Georgia. There could be something happen with that game. That's our 2-minute warnings. We are going to take a very, very short break. And when we come back, we're going to get into the main event. Shoot, I don't have a commercial spot made up. Kids, register for JRN 210 at Scottsdale Community College, News and Media Productions. Learn what you need to get into the industry.
Way to give the hard sell.
Yeah,
How about that?
nice one.
I like that one.
boy.
That was a quick
Look at
hitter.
the spot. That wasn't that bad.
That was a quick hitter.
Yeah.
We're back with more This Day in Sports. It's time for the main event of the evening. It's actually evening.
Shout out
Yeah.
Bruce Buffer.
It's morning. It's my Michael Buffer. Keep
What?
Keep it together, man. It's
But
Michael.
Bruce is better.
Come on, man.
If it was Bruce, I would be screaming into the microphone.
Sure.
Yeah, and
I don't-
also you would say,
Right. See, I did that differently.
It's
I did it differently.
time.
I did it differently. See, that's
Yeah.
why it's not Bruce Buffer.
Okay.
You
It's his
Kermit the
brother,
Frog.
Michael Buffer.
Yeah.
Okay.
The subpar one.
No, it's not the
Oh,
original
all right,
and the
okay.
best. Okay,
It's
let's
already
get
going
going.
Hard disagree, but
Let's get going with the. Maybe we'll talk about that on a different show. Let's get
Probably.
going with our
Yeah.
main event for the day. As I talked about with college football, one of the things that's really bothering me with the college football realignment is the loss of so many great rivalries. The last, what I was saying, the last Bedlam, the last scheduled Bedlam game took place because
they're going to the SEC.
Oklahoma is
Yeah.
moving to the SEC, Southeastern Conference, next season. There's a lot of teams moving to different conferences next season. So we're going to lose a lot of really good rivalry games, especially in the Pac-12.
Yeah,
The
but we're gonna
Pac-12 this year has been unbelievable in their quote unquote
Crazy.
last season.
last ride, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm interested to find out what's going to happen. Anyway, because of that, I was thinking this weekend we should talk about our favorite rivalries because some of them might not be around forever.
Mine will be
Yeah,
It will
mine
be
probably will be.
forever.
forever.
Okay, well, if yours is going to
Same
be
for
around
me.
forever, why don't you start us out?
All right. So I've been around two major big rivalries my entire life. One being Yankees Red Sox and the other being Ohio State Michigan.
Oof.
But I had to decide which one is bigger.
Right. The challenge of this podcast was to decide which is your biggest.
I think, I mean, history-wise, it would be Yankees Red Sox because it's going back to like the 08 or whatever, or to like the 1900s. But Michigan, Ohio State, and just the disdain and hatred that they have for each other. It just, every single Michigan, Ohio State game has at least one fight or like
In the
altercation.
stands or on the field? Because
Probably
there's
both.
probably way more than that in the stands.
Probably
way,
both, yeah.
way more.
I wouldn't. The thing a couple weeks ago I was talking about with Colorado fans in the ASU
Right.
student
ASU
section,
and Colorado. They're not even
I
that big of
doubt-
rivals, to be honest, and they were fighting.
I completely doubt there's any Ohio State students in the Michigan student section
I
or
hope-
vice versa.
I really hope not. Unless they're with somebody that can protect them.
Yeah, like a bodyguard.
Right. Well, or just,
Yeah,
somebody
yeah.
with Michigan gear to kind of vouch for him a little bit or something like, hey, don't beat that dude up. He's my friend.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
It's
or
just
But
like
that's the
sport.
thing. You
Undercover,
don't
maybe.
really,
Undercover.
it's such a huge rivalry that people like, if you're a Michigan fan, you just don't chill with Buckeyes fans. I mean, it's like, it's so deep that you don't even want to be around those people. That's how deep it
Oh,
is.
yeah.
It's
I
really,
feel like I get along with rival fans just in general. Like I wore a Yankees hat to Fenway, and I
That's
made
risky.
friends doing.
well,
that.
I mean, that's because you're a
That's-
nice guy, but
yeah.
I'm just saying
It could be worse. You could
The-
be a Cowboys.
the Michigan
Yankees weren't even playing.
The Michigan Ohio State
Really?
thing is so
Alright.
deep.
It was a Red Sox Mets game that I wore
Wow.
Yankees hat to.
Oh,
Yeah, but I did get a Yankees suck shirt for my sister.
imagine
so.
going to a
yeah.
Eagles Cowboys game and wearing like Tony Romo jersey. That's not ending well for you.
In Philly.
Yeah, in Philly.
In Philly,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be.
I'm gonna
that
get
would be rough.
popcorn thrown at me. Or something.
Yeah,
no, they're
rocks
gonna
thrown
throw-
at you,
Yeah,
man.
they throw everything at you.
Baseballs, rocks. They're
Baseballs. I don't
Yeah.
think I've ever
Okay.
seen a baseball be thrown at another fan.
You don't-
Although I would love to see that.
I'm sure it's happened. Thomas, you have a little bit different sports
Oh, yeah.
interests maybe than Ethan and I. What are what's your biggest rivalry?
I would love to say Packers Bears, but I mean, I can't lie. We've kind of dominated that rivalry for the past since 2008, basically, for so
Yeah.
long now.
Rogers
But
owns the Bears.
The other two that I was
Other
discussing,
two? Wait a minute.
Other two.
Boca
Wait a minute.
Juniors
What's the
versus River
channel?
Plate.
What's the challenge for this? Was your main one? Your main one.
I'll bring it up, but
Okay.
I'll go on a side one.
Okay. Go on a second.
Boca Juniors versus River Plate. To show you how crazy these fans are, in 2018 they met for the Copa Libertadores final. It's the
Nice
biggest
pronunciation.
Wait a minute. Where is this at? Where does this take place?
Argentina.
Okay, it's in
It-
Argentina.
yeah,
Are they kids?
No, full teams. They hate each other, and the fans hate each other.
It's Argentine soccer. Okay.
But this
Some
was
of our listeners might not.
but this was a continental game. Like this was for the final, to decide who's the best team in all of South America, and it was a rivalry. These fans were so rowdy. They not only canceled the game 3 times, they got it moved to Spain. That's how crazy it was. But
Wait a
speaking
minute.
of
They were
Argentina-
going to play the game on 3 different occasions, but they had to cancel it.
Yep, because of the fans.
Because violence was breaking out.
They were throwing stuff at the buses.
So the game's never even started. They were just like,
they
"No,
had
we're
to
not gonna
move it
do
to Spain. So
Wow.
so the fans went there in droves. And then, however, speaking of Argentina, there's a big rivalry in my opinion. Argentina versus Brazil. It's just a rivalry that it's
Again, you're talking about soccer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, it's not
World Cup.
necessarily heated all the time. It's like a must-watch game because the two teams, they just can't stand when they lose. One of the biggest examples was in 1990. It's dubbed, I believe, the Holy Water Scandal because the game went to extra time and Argentina won 1-0. They made the World Cup final but lost that year to West Germany. Or was it Germany? I don't remember. It was either West Germany or Germany. I'm pretty sure.
West
Germany.
Wait, they have 2 German teams.
Yeah,
in the
remember
World
West
Cup?
Well, there's
East Germany.
Germany and East Germany,
Yeah,
I
right.
guess.
Yeah,
It's not. I don't
But-
think they call it West Germany. I think it's just.
Oh,
they did. They
that's
did for
right.
a bit, but
They did.
History
yeah.
stuff. Yep.
But the reason it's called the Holy Water Scandal is because there were rumors that Maradona, who was obviously our greatest player up until Messi, allegedly spiked Brazilian players' drinks, so they became more tired during extra time, allowing Argentina to score a goal.
Spiked with what?
That's the thing, we don't know.
Some
They-
mystery thing.
Yeah, he was like, "Oh, I don't know what it was spiked with, but it was spiked with something." Argentines
I love
call-
90s
He
sports.
said
Yeah.
that he knows it was spiked with something.
Yeah, apparently Argentines called bull crap. Brazilians were like, "No, we want to replay the game." This was in 1990, and then in 2021, we met again in the Copa America final.
We met again.
Yeah, Argentina and Brazil.
Oh,
He
okay.
met
he
again.
he
Oh.
roots for Argentina.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
All
I'm an
right.
Argentine
See, I
fan.
didn't know this.
Are you?
Yeah.
You're not from Argentina, are you?
Yes,
have
I
to
am.
Let us.
Oh, you are.
I'm a citizen.
I thought you were from
a
like
citizen
a
of
smaller,
Argentina.
like Hispanic country.
Do you have dual citizenship or just
I have triple.
triple
I'm
citizenship? Are you from
Italian
Canada
citizen.
as well?
No, Italy.
Oh.
Wait, it's triple. It's not like tri
The
citizen.
tri-citizen. I don't
Oh.
know.
Can you
okay.
vote in all those countries?
Probably.
Wow.
You should do that. Like 1 year, just vote
That's
in
awful.
all 3
Maybe,
countries.
I
Awfully
could.
important.
Yeah.
just to fly out to vote.
So your primary main the rivalry that you're saying is your favorite amongst
Yeah.
all
It's
others
my favorite.
is Argentina versus Brazil.
It's my favorite.
Okay.
And the fans love it. I mean, first of all, though, they are insanely violent. Like, they breathe the sport to a living. So it's going to get rowdy in the stands. It gets rowdy in the game. It's just, everyone's out for blood during those games. It doesn't matter who it is. In the Copa America final, Brazil were looking to go back-to-back while Argentina were trying to end a 28-year trophy drought. Argentina won 1-0. And while Neymar, he wasn't technically through on goal, he was pretty close to it. Got fouled by Otamendi, and this was during the COVID-19 pandemic, so no fans, but the players got.
That's a real bummer.
Wait, did they have I know the MLB during the COVID pandemic had cardboard cutouts.
Yeah,
they didn't do that?
No. And then
probably a bigger stadium. So
yeah, and then in the World Cup last year, the two teams almost met, but Croatia beat Brazil on penalties. Had those two teams met in the semifinal to see who went to the final, I think it would have been the biggest game of the entire tournament, better than France and Argentina, and it would have been the most aggressive, most rowdy, and the loudest. Just the hatred that flows and the history. 5 World Cups for Brazil, 3 for Argentina. Argentina's tied for the most Copa Americas. I mean, whenever they play, it's just, you got to watch it.
Okay, we'll remember that. My favorite rivalry has changed during my lifetime. If you would have asked me as a teenager what my favorite rivalry is, I would have said without hesitation, Vikings-Packers for sure. That was the biggest one for me when I was growing up.
I hate the Vikings.
I know you do.
Yeah.
As time passed and I became interested in other things besides NFL football, I believe that my favorite rivalry right now is Clemson, South Carolina in college football. That's I lived in Charleston, South Carolina from 2006 until 2010. And I didn't understand, being from Minnesota, we don't have a big in-state sort of rivalry like that. When we play Wisconsin, when we play Wisconsin, it's a big deal, and things like that. But we didn't have a big in-state rivalry. So when I got down to South Carolina, I found out just how incredibly important college football is to people in the South, and how incredibly important the Clemson South Carolina rivalry is, because it's one of those things where South Carolina is kind of the everyman's sort of team, where it's a state funded college. They're just regular kids, just blue collar kind of kids. And then you've got Clemson, who's on the other side of the spectrum, probably in the state. They're a private school. It's kind of where the quote unquote rich kids go.
And they also want a rivalry, because why not?
Right. And it's very close. It's only
opportunity.
Right. They're only like an hour and a half away from each other too. So it's big.
Yeah, that's asking for a rivalry.
Right. It's a big, big rivalry. And I'd never experienced the wholesale sort of, almost everyone on that day, when you drive down the streets of Charleston, South Carolina, there's watch parties. There's just people parked everywhere at every house, because there's watch parties going on everywhere. It's crazy. My boss, but the thing about it is that it's a good natured rivalry. It's kind of, it's the rich kids versus the poor kids. So, so to speak, not saying you're poor.
Real American.
That's one way to see,
but it's like the regular kids against the other kids, and but it's good natured.
It's like not lighthearted. It's no like
right. It's not like Michigan, Ohio State, where you just
so much hatred.
It's not like
right.
Yankees,
It's kind of a good natured rivalry. Because like I said, my boss was a South Carolina fan. One of the guys I worked with graduated from Clemson, so they were always going back and forth and back. But it's good natured, but it's they're very, very into it for sure. So that's my favorite rivalry. Let's shout out for a couple other rivalries. We just got a couple minutes left. Let's shout out for a couple rivalries that we might not have said. I think one that comes to mind, a huge one that comes to mind, is India versus Pakistan in cricket.
Oh yeah,
I think that's a major. That's a biggie. That's like a huge
not
one.
Talked here because, like, unless you're
right, we don't watch cricket in the U.S.
I don't watch cricket.
But worldwide, I think India, Pakistan, and cricket is probably
that's a big one.
That's substantial for sure. Yeah. Huge.
LSU Bama just happened.
Mhm.
you see all these like greatest games like we've ever seen.
Right. The Iron Bowl. I like that one too.
Exactly. What
Auburn,
In
Alabama.
Alabama.
It's
Auburn's
always
gonna win the
crazy.
football game.
I love
Territorial,
that call. The kick six.
Territorial Cup is one of my favorites
Yeah.
since I moved down here. Arizona versus Arizona State. That's a big.
I think I'm gonna go to that this year.
One of the biggest ones that we didn't mention is El Clásico, Madrid versus Barcelona.
Mhm.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's just always huge. And they've always got the players too. I mean, we had Messi, Ronaldo for like what, 10 years ish.
Dodgers Giants.
I went to a Dodgers Giants game. It wasn't rowdy. It was like it ended 2-1 with a homer. But that they got intense.
Oh yeah.
And it was during
Yeah.
the like I think Giants were coming off a World Series, so the Dodgers hated them even more.
Oh yeah. And the Giants kind of dominated that decade.
They did.
I'd say for the most part because they won multiple World Series that year.
I think Scottsdale Community College versus Pima in any sport. That's a big one too.
Yeah.
I totally know about that.
I totally knew about that one.
Get a shout out to our Fighting Artichokes. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Might as well, right?
Yeah.
Thanks, guys, for being on today. And thanks, everyone, for listening to us as well. Make sure you check out our site at nevalleynews.org. Also, if you're into the social media thing, check us out on any of your favorite platforms at nevalleynews.org, whatever your favorite platform is. I think we're on there. Thanks for listening. Thanks, you guys, for participating. And I'm sure all of you out there have your own favorite rivalries, and hopefully they continue forever. Thanks for listening. And for goodness sakes, be safe out there.
Don't be a dingus.
Don't drink and drive.
Don't text and drive either.
Oh,
Drive safely.
All right. We'll
Eyes
just
on the
end
road.
with that.